Welcome along to this episode of Voices of Fostering, where today I'm joined by another of our lovely foster carers. Welcome to the podcast, Tarek. Hello, Tarek.
Hi, Helen, you okay?
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us, Tarek. So, firstly, tell us about what led you to fostering and how long you've been doing it.
Well, fostering has always been something I've kind of been thinking about quite a lot because my brother has been a foster carer for about 15, 16 years. So I'd seen what he did, the enjoyment that it brought to him, and what he kind of put into helping children that are really vulnerable. So it was something that I really wanted to do, but I suppose it was doing it which was right for me at the right time, and whether I could give the appropriate commitment to making it work. Fostering is something that I've always kind of had at the back of my mind, but I was just waiting for the right time, the right circumstances, both in terms of my family and my professional workload. It's something that I definitely wanted to do.
And it's been, 15 years now that you've been fostering, is that right?
Yeah. So I first started, I was approved in 2011, and I didn't really take a placement till about 2013 because, like I said, it's not something that I didn't want to rush into, and it had to be right for me in terms of my commitment to what I wanted to do. Because I had a bit of a demanding job as well, so I thought, you know what, I just wait for the right opportunity and the right circumstance. So I waited a few years, and obviously I think in about 2014 I got my first placement, which was a sibling of two. And since then, I've never really looked back. I've always had placements every year, right up to 2025. So yeah, it's very enjoying.
And tell us a bit about your family unit then. It's yourself and your wife, and do you have birth children as well?
Yeah, so it's me and my wife, and I've got two boys and two girls. Two of my siblings, the older ones, are married. And they've kind of moved on. But like I said, when I first started fostering, they were all living with us at home. And because it's been 14, 15 years since I've been on this journey, my own two children, the eldest two, have gone off and had children of their own. They've got married and settled. And so now I've got the two children at home. So, my family really have always been a fostering family. So we've all kind of been one unit that have understood the concept of fostering. And often, they help out in terms of the daily activities, just looking after them, doing stuff together, going on holiday, going away. So yeah, it's definitely a family-orientated concept that we've got in terms of looking after children.
And Tarek, you're quite passionate, aren't you, about challenging myths and misconceptions around fostering, particularly in the Muslim community. So can you tell us a bit about that?
So yeah, I mean, fostering within the Muslim community, it's not something which is, I suppose it's more around awareness and education, and it's about giving something back to those people that are really vulnerable, that need your love and support. And the Muslim faith is all about those things, about giving something back, helping the most needy, helping the most vulnerable. And it's something that there's a lack of awareness within the Muslim community around doing that, and we can do so much, but yet very little is known about the world of fostering and what it entails. Because people are thinking, well, hang on, if we get a foster child, and what happens if it doesn't work? What happens if we can't look after that child? And, there's lots of measures in place to help people to overcome some of those issues. But yet I think because there's a lack of awareness around the whole concept of fostering, people aren't really coming forward as much as they should. And especially in this day and age now, there's so many people from diverse communities, especially young children, who are going into care, but yet we haven't got the appropriate foster carers to meet those needs. So I think definitely, we need to do some campaign or some awareness where, we kind of let people know what fostering is all about and apply it of the children that are out there that need some love, some attention, a good family home. And I think for me, I think if we get that information out there and kind of promote the awareness, I'm sure we'll get a lot of people from not just the Muslim community, from a whole wide range of different communities coming forward to really do their bit for the children that really need it the most.
And why do you think, Tariq, that a diverse group of foster carers is so important?
Well, it's important because, for instance, if I've got two Muslim children and their identities of a Muslim background, then of course, then if they're placed with a Muslim family, then that Muslim family can give them whatever they require in terms of their identity, and so things like Eid, fasting. If they're with a Muslim family, they can actually understand the true reality of what it's like to fast with another Muslim family that are also doing that. But if they live in a family that aren't fasting and that aren't Muslim, then they're really missing out on a big chunk of their identity.
And you've had 10 children come to live with you, is that correct, across your fostering journey? Are there any particular children or young people that stand out to you that you could tell us about, Tariq?
Well, I think they all stand out in their own way, because they're all unique and they're all special. And like I said, I couldn't choose between any of them because, like I said, they've all taken a lot of love from us. They've given us a lot of love. And, it's been such a journey, not just for them, but for us as foster carers, for what we've learned. And what we have learned is every child is unique. Every child is special. And every child requires love and attention. And, we've kind of taken so much from, just providing them a home which is safe, some love, some comfort, doing lots of enrichment activities with them. And it's just given us so much. It's made us better in terms of our life experiences. So I couldn't really choose between any of them because, like I said, they're all so special and so unique in their own way. What I will say is we, even though they've all moved, well, all of them, apart from the one that we're looking after now, they're all, gone back to their families. But we still maintain a special and unique relationship with them. And that's so, we exchange gifts over Eid. They still come over on the summer holidays or Easter just to come and have something to eat, play in the garden. We go to the park with them. And even things like weddings, like we're inviting them. So they still got such a special relationship with them, such a loving relationship that they don't want to break that link with us.
Yeah.
So the experience of fostering has been something which is very positive for us.
How does that feel, Tariq, when you've created that bond and they still want to stay in touch? How does that feel?
It feels that you're in a very cherished but loved position, and then deep down in your heart, even though you're not seeing those children as much as you want to, but that you've got that unique bond, that relationship. And that they can always pick up the phone and say, can we come over at Easter for something to eat? Or can we go to that park that we always used to go to for a walk every evening? And it's just about, just having that link with them, saying, how are you getting at school? How you doing? Are you ever joined a football club yet? Is there anything that I can help you with? And you're just a sounding board for those children, so that they can reach out to you and say, actually, I've changed school, but I'm not really kind of settled yet. But how do I go out making new friends? And it's just about, going over some of the stuff that you had with them when they first came to you. And it's about respect, tolerance, and having an open mind. So even though the children do go to their own houses, it never ends in terms of your relationship with those individuals.
And it sounds like you've had a really positive experience in your fostering journey since 2011. But have there been challenges, Tariq?
Yeah, definitely. Look, in fostering, no one day might be the same. Every day is a different day. So you're going to have times where you're getting children who are placed in your care who, for whatever the reason is they've had a traumatic background, they've had a traumatic upbringing, and they might have witnessed domestic violence, they might have witnessed a whole range of different things. But when they come to you, it takes a bit of time for them to understand you and you understand them. There are going to be, kind of issues, whether it's, just things like understanding their routine and them understanding your routine. So there's a bit of a settling in period where, you've got to just, be a bit patient and allow that trust, to kind of develop. And yeah, so, some children, they might not be used to going bed at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, or they might be used to staying up at 11 o'clock because of their background, where they've come from. So it's about making sure that, whatever measures you put in place, they're negotiated, and you try to get them to understand the reason behind that. So yeah, there is going to be ups and downs in fostering, but I think the positives outweigh all the negatives. And at the end of it, when that child has a big smile on their face and they give you a big hug every day, it's all worth it. The bumps are worth it. And so, yeah, it definitely has got its ups and downs. And like I said, fostering, it's not, it can be a walk in the park, but then again, it can have its challenges, and you've got to be ready for both.
Yeah. And what would you say is the most rewarding part, Tariq? Is it those big smiling faces?
Those big smiling faces when, when they ring you up on your birthday and say happy birthday because they remembered. They can ring you up and say, Eid Mubarak, a happy Eid. And it's just the little things that you think, the things that you think that they might not remember, but they do remember. And they ring you up and they get their parents to ring you up and say, can we come over on the weekend? It's Easter, or can we come over on Eid? Or, what you do over fasting, we missed, like Faiza's cooking where she used to make lots of food for us during fasting. And it's all those little things. They even remember their own little, favourite dishes, their favourite food. And some of them say, can you ask Faiza to come over and teach our mum how to make some of those dishes that she used to feed us? And it's all those little things that, are so rewarding. It's just like, words can't really explain the feeling that you get when one of your foster children ring you up and just say how much they miss you.
And Tariq, over your journey since 2011, you've had 10 children and young people come to live with you. Have some of them not been Muslim, and how have they embraced your faith and your culture?
Well, most, because of the need. We've got a massive shortage of Muslim foster carers. Yeah. And it's just been that way that the placements that I've had have primarily been Muslim foster carers because there's been a shortage. So in terms of that identity and that religious match, because there's been a shortage, I've always had Muslim foster carers because I've been one of the very few Muslim foster carers.
Mm-hmm. So you've had Muslim foster children come and live with you, yeah?
Yeah, Muslim foster children living with me all that time. So, I suppose it's just to throw the dice really that, how I was available at the time, and I got, the Muslim children. And my brother, who is a foster carer as well, and he's had about 3 non-Muslim children that been placed with him. So I think it's just because of the circumstance that I've been in, and my availability at the time where I've just had the Muslim children, because they were in need of a carer, and I was just available at the time. So yeah.
And you said there is a shortage of Muslim foster carers. Why do you think that is?
Again, I think it's something that it's not, the awareness isn't there in the community, and really it's not seen as something that which is like, I suppose fostering in general, isn't, the awareness isn't there in all communities, let alone the Muslim community. But I think because we're getting a lot of Muslim children now being placed in care now than we ever were, and obviously an increase in the population, we need the foster carers from a Muslim background to make a more diverse foster carer kind of force, where we can have a whole range of different carers that can provide a level of care irrelevant of their background. But it's good to have that diversity. When we don't have that diversity, I think the fostering profession becomes more weaker in terms of its outlook and what we provide. So
Oh, so it's been lovely to
Go on.
speak to you, Tariq. Just finally, if there was anyone listening or watching who was considering being a foster carer, particularly maybe from the Muslim community, as you say, there is a shortage of carers from that community. What would you say to them? How would you encourage them to get in touch?
Well, my message is, look, you- as families, as parents, we need to think about those children who haven't got a loving home or who are really struggling, who are very vulnerable. And we're in a very unique position in that, fine, we've got a lot of privileges in our life. We probably come from good family backgrounds, but there's children out there who are really up against it, and we're in difficult times, and we really need families to step up and give some love and attention, and also a warm environment, a safe environment for those children that really need it the most. Because if we don't do our bit for these children, they're just going to be in a life of going from one carer or from one place to another. And what lives have they got, at the end of it all, if they don't get a stable home? So we really, really, really need to step up and just give it a go, because like I said, don't think about the negatives, think about the positives, think about, like I said, the hug that you might get, you know, that kind of phone call when they do go back to say, we really miss you. Can we come over on the Easter or a festive occasion? And it's so, so rewarding, and it outweighs any money that you might have, any financial means, anything else that you have in your life. Trust me, that kind of hug and that kind of just them words to say, we really miss you, is so rewarding. And I urge anybody that hasn't considered it to consider, looking up the role of a foster carer and, what it involves. And like I said, it's so, so, so rewarding. And I'm happy to speak to anybody who wants to foster or even have some information about fostering. My doors are always open to talk about the highs and lows. And the highs outweigh the lows every time. And so if people want to speak about fostering, contact me. I'm here. We need to do my bit to make sure we can get a diverse kind of group of foster carers to really make a change in the lives of those young children that really need it the most.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Tariq. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's been wonderful to speak to you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Voices of Fostering. If you'd like to find out more, head online and search National Fostering Group and make this the year you foster.